If you are over 60, there is a silent saboteur hiding in plain sight in your kitchen. It's not in a junk food package or a sugary drink, it's in your crisper drawer. It's the very food you've been told to eat more of your entire life. The cornerstone of every healthy diet, the vegetables you dutifully chop for your salads and steam for your dinner, believing you are protecting your body and your mind. But what if I told you that some of these healthy vegetables could be quietly contributing to your brain fog, worsening your memory, and inflaming the delicate tissues of your brain? It doesn't happen suddenly. It's a slow, creeping decline. It's the frustrating search for a word that used to be on the tip of your tongue. It's the flicker of confusion when trying to follow a conversation. It's the growing fear that your mind is not as sharp as it once was, despite all your best efforts. As a brain doctor, I have dedicated my life to understanding the intricate workings of the human brain. And one of the most tragic realities I face is seeing patients whose cognitive decline is being accelerated by well-intentioned mistakes. They are eating their vegetables, but they are eating the wrong vegetables or preparing them in the wrong way for their aging bodies. Yes, vegetables. While the vast majority are life-giving, some popular choices can, for a senior, become inflammatory triggers. They can spike your blood sugar, block the absorption of vital minerals, or carry a hidden load of neurotoxins that your aging liver and kidneys can no longer efficiently clear. And the most dangerous part? You are praised for eating them. Today, we are exposing the truth. I'm going to guide you through 8 common vegetables that could be secretly harming your brain and damaging your memory, especially after 60. If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right, but still feel your mental clarity slipping, then this is a message you cannot afford to miss. Before we begin, your journey to a sharper mind is important to me. Please take a moment to subscribe to this channel and ring the notification bell so you are always the first to receive these vital health insights. And to help me create the best possible content for you, please type 1 in the comments if this video resonates with you, or 0 if it does not. I read every single one. 1. Corn, the inflammatory sugar bomb disguised as a vegetable. Corn on the cob is an icon of wholesome American summer life. It's a staple at family barbecues, served steaming with a pat of butter. It feels natural, earthy, and good for you. But here is the hard truth I must share as a neurologist. For your brain, modern sweet corn is not a vegetable. It's a sugar-laden grain that promotes inflammation. The corn our grandparents ate is vastly different from the super-sweet hybrids that dominate today's market. These modern varieties have been selectively bred for an incredibly high sugar content, giving them a high glycemic index. When you eat a cob of sweet corn, your body digests it rapidly, and it hits your bloodstream like a shot of sugar water. This causes a dramatic spike in blood sugar and insulin. For an aging metabolism that is often already struggling with some degree of insulin resistance, this is a recipe for disaster. This daily or weekly sugar surge fuels chronic, low-grade inflammation throughout your body. And the number one target of this inflammation is the delicate vascular system of your brain. It damages the lining of your arteries, making them stiff and prone to plaque buildup. Furthermore, corn is very high in omega-6 fatty acids. While we need some omega-6s, the modern diet is overloaded with them, and they are pro-inflammatory. They compete with and block the anti-inflammatory brain-building omega-3s that are so critical for memory and cognitive function. Eating corn is like pouring gasoline on the inflammatory fire in your brain while simultaneously stealing the fire extinguisher. Let me tell you about Mr. Robert Miller, 73, a retired farmer from Iowa. He had eaten corn with his dinner most nights of his life. It was part of his identity. But he came to me with his wife, concerned about his senior moments. He was having trouble managing the farm's finances, something he used to do in his sleep. He felt a constant fuzziness, and his mood was becoming irritable. His wife was worried it was the start of dementia. We ran a full panel, and his inflammatory markers were sky high. His blood sugar was on the verge of prediabetes. His daily corn habit, which he saw as a connection to his roots, was actually a daily dose of sugar and inflammatory oils that was directly impacting his cognitive health. He wasn't getting dementia. His brain was inflamed. Here is what you need to know. If you're over 60, you must think of sweet corn as a treat, not a staple. Treat it like a starchy garnish, not a primary vegetable. If you do eat it, have a small portion, and always balance it with plenty of protein and healthy fats to buffer the sugar hit. Your brain will thank you for it. And if corn surprised you, wait until you hear about its humble cousin that shares a spot on nearly every dinner plate, but carries a hidden inflammatory compound. 2. White potatoes, the nightly nightshade starch bomb. The potato. It's the humble, affordable, and comforting staple of countless meals. Baked, mashed, or roasted, it feels like a safe, satisfying choice. Many seniors trying to cut back on bread see a baked potato as a healthy alternative. But I am here to warn you that for an aging brain, a simple white potato can be just as problematic as a slice of white bread, and in some cases, even worse. The first problem is again sugar. A large russet potato has an extremely high glycemic index, often higher than table sugar itself. When you eat it, your blood sugar skyrockets, triggering that same inflammatory cascade we just discussed. This repeated stress on your system damages brain cells and impairs memory function over time. But there is a second, more insidious problem. Potatoes are members of the nightshade family, a group of plants that produce natural pesticides called glycoalkaloids to protect themselves from being eaten by insects. While most people can handle these compounds in small amounts, they can be a significant source of inflammation for sensitive individuals. A group that grows larger as we age and our gut lining becomes more permeable. These glycoalkaloids can irritate the digestive tract, contribute to leaky gut, and allow inflammatory molecules to pass into the bloodstream, where they can then cross the blood-brain barrier and create neurological symptoms. I had a patient, Mrs. Agnes Gable, 78, a retired teacher who had switched from having a dinner roll to a healthy baked potato with her evening meal. She was struggling with both arthritis and a growing sense of brain fog. Her joints ached and her mind felt stuck. She couldn't understand why as she was eating so cleanly. It turned out she was highly sensitive to nightshades. Her nightly potato was a double whammy. It was spiking her blood sugar and delivering a dose of inflammatory glycoalkaloids before bed. Her body and brain were being inflamed while she slept. When we removed all nightshades from her diet for a month, the results were astonishing. Her joint pain subsided dramatically, and she reported that the fog in her head had finally lifted. My advice for seniors is to be very cautious with white potatoes. If you must have them, keep the portion size very small, and consider swapping them for a sweet potato, which has a lower glycemic index and is packed with brain-protective antioxidants like beta-carotene. Listen to your body. If you feel stiff, achy, or foggy after eating potatoes, it may not be a coincidence. And if you think a common staple is the only danger, wait until we discuss the vegetable that is the king of healthy green smoothies but could be acting as a nutrient thief in your body. If you're finding this valuable, please comment one below. Now let's move on to point 3. 3. Spinach, raw and in large quantities, the oxalate overload. Spinach is the poster child for healthy greens. We're told it's packed with iron, calcium, and vitamins. Seniors across the country are blending huge handfuls of raw spinach into their morning smoothies, thinking they are flooding their bodies with nutrients. But this is a classic case of where more is not better. In fact, for an aging body, a large daily dose of raw spinach can backfire, blocking nutrient absorption and fueling systemic inflammation that harms the brain. The problem lies with a compound called oxalic acid, or oxalates. Spinach is one of the highest oxalate foods on the planet. Oxalates are known as anti-nutrients because they bind to essential minerals, particularly calcium and iron, in your digestive tract and prevent your body from absorbing them. So, while spinach contains these minerals, the oxalates ensure that much of it passes right through you. You could be drinking a nutrient-rich smoothie every day while unknowingly creating a mineral deficiency that can lead to fatigue, anemia, and brain fog. Furthermore, for individuals who are sensitive or whose kidneys are not filtering at 100%, these oxalates can form tiny, sharp crystals in the body. These crystals can get lodged in tissues and joints, causing pain and triggering a powerful inflammatory response. This systemic inflammation, as we know, is a direct enemy of the brain. I remember a patient, Mr. David Chen, 71, a retired engineer who was a green smoothie devotee. Every morning he'd pack his blender with 2 huge handfuls of raw spinach. He came to me because despite his perfect diet, he felt perpetually tired, his thinking was slow, and he was experiencing joint pain. Blood tests revealed he was borderline anemic and had low calcium levels, which made no sense given his diet. But it was the oxalates. His massive daily intake of raw spinach was robbing his body of the very minerals he thought he was consuming, and the resulting inflammation was clouding his mind. Cooking spinach can help reduce the oxalate content, but the best strategy is moderation and variety. Don't rely on spinach as your only green. Rotate it with lower oxalate greens like kale, in moderation, romaine lettuce, and arugula. And never consume huge quantities of it raw on a daily basis. A small handful in a smoothie is likely fine, but the giant green monster smoothies are a bad idea for seniors. Your brain needs nutrients it can actually absorb, not nutrients that are locked away by anti-nutrients. 4. Bell peppers, especially green, the lectin irritant. Bright, crunchy, and colorful, bell peppers seem like a wonderfully healthy addition to any salad or stir-fry. They are rich in vitamin C and add a satisfying texture to meals. But bell peppers, like potatoes and tomatoes, are members of the nightshade family, and they contain a different kind of problematic compound, lectins. Lectins are sticky, carbohydrate-binding proteins that act as a natural defense mechanism for the plant. Their stickiness allows them to bind to the lining of your digestive tract. For an older adult with an already sensitive or compromised gut lining, this can be highly irritating. It can damage the microvilli in your intestines, contributing to leaky gut syndrome. When your gut is leaky, undigested food particles and inflammatory proteins can escape into your bloodstream, triggering an immune response and systemic inflammation that can manifest in your brain as fog, memory issues, or even mood swings. Green bell peppers are particularly problematic as they are the unripe version of the fruit and contain the highest concentration of these lectins. As they ripen to yellow, orange, and red, the lectin content decrease. Let me tell you about a patient, Mrs. Maria Rossi, 75, an Italian grandmother who loved to cook. She used bell peppers in almost everything and often snacked on raw green pepper slices with her lunch. She came to me with a host of vague, troubling symptoms: bloating, gas, a fuzzy head that made it hard to follow her recipes, and a general sense of unease. Her regular doctor could find nothing wrong. We suspected a lectin sensitivity. I had her eliminate all nightshades, especially raw bell peppers, for 30 days. The transformation was slow but steady. After 2 weeks, her digestive issues vanished. By the end of the month, she called my office, overjoyed, saying, "It's like someone wiped the fog from my brain." The constant low-level irritation from the lectins had been fueling her cognitive symptoms. If you enjoy bell peppers, my advice is to always choose ripe ones, red, yellow, or orange, over green. And it's crucial to cook them. Cooking, especially pressure cooking, helps to break down and deactivate many of the harmful lectins. Eating them raw, especially the green variety, is a risk that many seniors with sensitive systems should avoid. 5. Canned tomatoes, the hidden chemical threat. Tomatoes are a cornerstone of many healthy diets, celebrated for their lycopene content. And for many seniors on a budget, canned tomatoes are a convenient and affordable staple for making soups, stews, and sauces. But the combination of the tomato's natural properties and its packaging creates a hidden threat to your brain health. BPA. The problem is a 1-2 punch. First, tomatoes are highly acidic. Second, the lining of most metal food cans contains a chemical called bisphenol A, or BPA. The high acidity of the tomatoes leaches this BPA from the can lining directly into the food you are about to eat. BPA is a known endocrine disruptor, meaning it mimics hormones in the body and can interfere with your delicate hormonal balance. For seniors whose hormonal systems are already in a state of flux, this can be particularly disruptive. But beyond hormones, BPA is also linked to oxidative stress and inflammation in the brain. Studies have shown it can be neurotoxic, potentially damaging neurons and interfering with the function of neurotransmitters that are vital for memory and mood. So every time you open a can of tomatoes, you could be getting a dose of a brain-damaging chemical along with your lycopene. I once treated a patient, Mr. Harold Finch, 81, a thrifty widower who proudly made a big batch of his own spaghetti sauce every Sunday using canned crushed tomatoes. He came to me because he was experiencing memory lapses and uncharacteristic mood swings. His blood work showed some hormonal irregularities that were puzzling. After a lengthy discussion about his diet and lifestyle, the high, consistent intake of canned goods became a primary suspect. We tested his BPA levels and they were significantly elevated. The solution was simple. I advised him to switch to tomatoes packaged in glass jars or Tetra Paks, cardboard boxes. Within a few months of making this simple change and supporting his body's detoxification pathways, his mood stabilized, and he reported feeling mentally clearer. The takeaway is this: avoid canned foods when possible, but be especially vigilant about acidic foods like tomatoes. Always opt for glass jars or boxes. It's a small change in your shopping habit that can make a big difference in protecting your brain from unnecessary chemical exposure. 6. Cucumbers, conventional, the wax and pesticide trap. Cool as a cucumber. The phrase itself suggests something refreshing and harmless. And indeed, cucumbers are hydrating and low in calories. But the conventionally grown cucumbers you find in most supermarkets hide a dirty secret, one that is particularly dangerous for the aging brain: a waxy coating that traps a cocktail of neurotoxic pesticides. Cucumbers consistently rank high on the Environmental Working Group's Dirty Dozen list, meaning they carry one of the highest pesticide loads of all produce. To give them that shiny, appealing look and to preserve them for their long journey to the grocery store, they are coated in a petroleum-based wax. This wax is not easily washed off, and it effectively seals in the pesticides that have been sprayed on the crop. When you eat a slice of a conventional cucumber, you are ingesting these residues. For a younger person with a robust liver, some of this might be detoxified and eliminated. But for a senior, the detoxification systems are slower and less efficient. These neurotoxic chemicals can bypass the liver, cross the blood-brain barrier, and accumulate in the fatty tissues of the brain. There, they can disrupt nerve signaling, increase oxidative stress, and contribute to the slow death of brain cells. I remember a patient, Mrs. Brenda Smith, 70, who ate a large salad with lots of cucumber every single day for lunch. She was careful to buy what looked like the freshest cucumbers, the ones with the glossiest skins. She came to me with neurological symptoms that mimic Parkinson's disease, a slight tremor in her hand and a feeling of slowness in her movements. She also complained of severe brain fog. After ruling out other conditions, we ran a toxic chemical panel. Her body was carrying a high load of specific organophosphate pesticides, the very kind used on crops like cucumbers. Her healthy daily salad was delivering a slow, steady dose of poison to her nervous system. We immediately had her switch to organic cucumbers only and put her on a gentle detoxification protocol. Her symptoms improved significantly over the next 6 months. It was a stark reminder that sometimes the danger isn't in the food itself, but in how it's grown and treated. My advice is unequivocal. If you eat cucumbers, you must either buy organic or peel them. Do not trust that washing a waxed, conventionally grown cucumber will make it safe. Peeling it removes the wax and the highest concentration of pesticides along with it. 7. Soybeans edamame. The hormone hijacker. Soy has been marketed for decades as a miracle health food, a heart-healthy alternative to meat and dairy. Many health-conscious seniors have embraced soy milk, tofu, and edamame, believing they are making a smart choice for their cardiovascular system. However, from a neurological and hormonal perspective, high and consistent soy consumption can be problematic for older adults. The primary concern is that soy is rich in phytoestrogens, plant-based compounds that can mimic the hormone estrogen in the body. For postmenopausal women and older men, the hormonal system is in a delicate balance. Introducing a powerful external hormonal influence can be disruptive, but the bigger, more direct threat to the brain comes from soy's effect on the thyroid. Soy contains compounds called goitrogens, which can interfere with the thyroid gland's ability to take up iodine and produce thyroid hormone. Your thyroid is the master regulator of your body's metabolism, including the energy metabolism of your brain. Even a mild subclinical hypothyroidism can lead to devastating cognitive symptoms, severe brain fog, memory loss, depression, and fatigue. Many seniors who are diagnosed with age-related cognitive decline are actually suffering from an underactive thyroid. I had a patient, Mrs. Carol Jennings, 68, who had recently switched to soy milk in her coffee and ate edamame as a snack several times a week, all on the advice of a wellness magazine. She came to me because she felt like her brain had been unplugged. She was exhausted, cold all the time, and had such bad brain fog she had to stop driving. Her doctor had told her it was just part of getting older, but her symptoms screamed thyroid. We ran a full thyroid panel and sure enough, she was in the early stages of hypothyroidism. Her heavy soy intake was very likely the trigger. When it comes to soy, a small amount of fermented soy, like traditional miso or tempeh, is generally fine. But I advise my senior patients to be very cautious with unfermented soy products like soy milk, tofu, and edamame, and to avoid making them a daily staple. Your brain needs a healthy, functioning thyroid to think clearly. Don't let a health food hijack it. 8. Lentils and beans improperly prepared. The anti-nutrient attack. Lentils and beans are praised as a fantastic source of fiber and plant-based protein. They are affordable, filling, and a staple in many healthy diets. But there is a critical step that many people, especially those who didn't grow up cooking them from scratch, miss: proper preparation. If not prepared correctly, lentils and beans can be loaded with anti-nutrients that irritate the gut and block mineral absorption, leading to brain-damaging inflammation and deficiency. The two main culprits are phytic acid and lectins. Phytic acid, like the oxalates in spinach, binds to minerals like zinc, iron, and magnesium in the gut and prevents them from being absorbed. Zinc and magnesium are absolutely critical for memory and neurotransmitter function. Lectins, as we discussed with peppers, are those sticky proteins that can damage the gut lining. For generations, cultures around the world knew instinctively how to deal with this. They would soak their beans and lentils overnight, often in slightly acidic water, and then cook them for a long time. This soaking and cooking process deactivates the vast majority of the phytic acid and lectins, making the nutrients available and the food easy to digest. Today, with the advent of quick-cook lentils and people rushing the cooking process, many are consuming beans and lentils that are still full of these anti-nutrients. This can lead to digestive distress, bloating, and more importantly, a chronic, low-level inflammation originating in the gut that directly impacts the brain. I remember a young-at-heart patient, Mr. Sam Peterson, 72, who had recently become a vegetarian to improve his health. He was making lentil soup and bean chili several times a week, but he was using a quick-cook method he found online. He came to me complaining of terrible gas and bloating, and a spaced-out feeling that made it hard to concentrate. He was suffering from both the direct gut irritation and the mineral deficiencies caused by the improperly prepared legumes. The solution was a return to ancient wisdom. I taught him the importance of soaking his beans and lentils overnight before cooking them thoroughly. This simple, traditional step made all the difference. His digestive issues resolved and his mental clarity returned. Final reflection. It's not the food, it's the wisdom. After hearing this list, it would be easy to feel overwhelmed and to fear the very produce aisle you once trusted. But I urge you not to see this as a list of forbidden foods. Instead, see it as an invitation to a higher level of wisdom about your own body. This is not about fear, it is about empowerment. The truth is, for a person in their 30s, a bowl of corn or a raw spinach smoothie is probably fine. But aging requires adaptation. It asks us to be more mindful, more attuned, and more respectful of the new biological reality we live in. And this isn't just my opinion, as one doctor. Esteemed institutions like the Mayo Clinic have extensively researched the connection between diet and cognitive health. They often highlight dietary patterns like the MIND diet, which is specifically designed to reduce the risk of dementia. This diet emphasizes certain vegetables, like leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, and colorful varieties, while implicitly cautioning against patterns that lead to high sugar intake or inflammation. Their research supports the very principle we've discussed today. It's about choosing the right vegetables, prepared the right way, in the right amounts for your stage of life. The safe vegetables are the ones that are nutrient-dense, low in sugar, and low in inflammatory compounds. Reach for leafy greens like romaine and arugula, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower, as well as asparagus, zucchini, and mushrooms. These are your brain's true allies. Your journey to health after 60 is not about restriction. It's about intelligent substitution. It's about understanding that your body is no longer a workhorse, but a finely tuned instrument that responds best to care, not force. You've earned the wisdom that comes with age. Now it's time to apply that wisdom to your plate. Listen to your body, choose with awareness, and you can build a future where your mind remains as vibrant and full of life as you are. I would love to hear from you. Which of these vegetables was the biggest surprise? Please share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this video to be a valuable guide, let me know with a 1. If not, a 0 is perfectly fine. Your honesty helps me serve this community better. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights to help you thrive. Thank you for watching.